In my own words, what it means to be housing insecure is basically feeling like you're in a situation or in an environment that you're not welcome, in an environment where you don't feel like this is your home, that you need to be somewhere else. Possibly you're paying the bills and you still don't feel like you need to be there. Or maybe you need to stay at a friend's house. They're welcoming, but it's not your home, it's their home. My name is Teanna, and I am currently attending University of Connecticut with a major of Speech, Language, and Hearing Sciences and a minor in American Sign Language. The topic of college homelessness is very important to me because college itself is a huge financial risk. Being homeless, you need to also be able to financially support yourself, to have a home, to have food. And even if you live on campus, when the seasons change, winter or summer, you need a place to stay. Not all the time can you stay on campus. Being able to find a place to go during the winter, during the summer, I was able to stay on campus, but that was also a lot of money to spend. I was able to get scholarships, but what if I wasn't able to find those scholarships? What if those scholarships came in late? Here in Hartford, Connecticut, people that are homeless are always perceived as drug addicts, or maybe they have a bad persona. That's not always true. Everybody has their own story. The moment I realized I was experiencing housing insecurity and homelessness was actually the day that I decided I was no longer giving in to what my mom believed that was right for me. I always told her the things that were wrong in the household, how I felt, how she made me feel, how the other people in the household made me feel. And it was an event, a really terrible event that had happened that kind of broke the stick. And it was during COVID too. It was the worst time to be homeless. Some ways that COVID-19 impacted my housing experience is first, rent, trying to look for apartments, even small little studios. They're very expensive, especially in Hartford. It is so expensive just to get a studio or a one-bedroom apartment. It was so hard for me to try to do that. Plus, I had to try to find a job, but then how am I supposed to find a job when a lot of stores are closed? And maybe I'm able to do it online, but I'm homeless. I don't have internet. I can go to the library, but the library was closed. It was very hard for me to find a job, very hard for me to even get income, very hard for me to support myself. I was fortunate enough where my sister was able to lend a space for me to stay in until I was ready to move out. But as COVID got worse, it was really hard for me to find a job, a stable job that allowed me to go in person, or even if it was online, I didn't really have the best service in the space that I was in. So unfortunately, I couldn't do those jobs. How was I supposed to support myself and a pet without any income, without a house? I didn't know what to do. At least I had my sister to help me, but I knew that wasn't my home. Not only was I able to get that space, but my sister was also not very supportive mentally. It wasn't a space that I felt happy or comfortable. It wasn't a space I felt like it was home. And having to quarantine, not being able to see my friends, and I barely have any family that I can even call family, that I feel like they're family. I was in a room by myself, trapped in my thoughts, trapped in the memories that I was replaying over and over in my head. The day that I became homeless, the times that my mom mentally and physically abused me, I knew I didn't belong there. Until this day, I knew I shouldn't have stayed as long as I did. I wasn't financially able to move on my own. I didn't know how to cook. I didn't know what to cook, what to buy. There was nobody there to help me at that moment. And so it was always a struggle of, I need to leave, but I don't know where and I don't know when. therefore that had started the gap where I needed to figure out, okay, if I can't go back to their house, then where can I go? I couldn't go to my father's house because he wasn't necessarily supportive. Also, there was nowhere for me to stay. So I decided to stay on campus. However, I mixed up the expenses it costs to live on campus, and so I had to pay out of pocket at first. And I would hip hop between both jobs just to make sure that I can get as much income as I can. As a full-time student, it's very difficult to not only have a stable job, but to also find time to do homework or to study for exams. However, that's different from other people, where I would have conversation with friends and they would question, why am I working 16 hours? Why am I doing this? Why am I not spending more time with them? And they just didn't understand. I needed as much money as I could get. I understand that they get support with their parents, they can get support from their grandparents, but I don't even talk to my grandparents. And I needed to stay as far as away I can from my parents. I needed my own income, and they didn't understand. I think the University of Connecticut can do a couple of things to help people that are homeless or in housing insecurity. One thing I feel like they should do is have a community. They have so many communities on campus for the LGBTQ plus community, for the deaf community, honors, especially honors in engineering. There should be a community for people that feel that they are in an insecure housing. They should have a community for those who are homeless. In my own words, how I define home, it's kind of difficult. I don't think I've ever felt like I was home in a long time. My definition has definitely changed, but honestly, I would feel like as long as I can come home, feel safe, feel happy, feel relaxed, I think that's home. Yeah, that's home.